All right, let's get right into this. We're about to break down the incredible true story of how a nurse, pushed to her absolute limit, quietly built a seven-figure digital empire without telling a single soul. Seriously, this is a masterclass in turning everyday frustration into total freedom. I want you to really put yourself in her shoes for a second. Picture it. You chose a career to help people, right? It's a calling. But the day-to-day reality of the job, well, it's starting to hit a little different. That reality is just bone-deep exhaustion. You're running on fumes and adrenaline, making these life-or-death decisions while the rest of the world is asleep. Then you go home just as the sun is coming up, try to sleep, and do it all over again. It is a relentless, brutal cycle. And in those rare, quiet moments, maybe in the car on the way home, you can't help but ask yourself that question. Is this really it? This cycle of stress with so little to show for it. Is this really my whole story? Well, that brings us to Sarah. Back in 2021, at the absolute peak of healthcare burnout, she was living this exact reality every single day. And her story, it isn't just about making a bunch of money. It's about a mission to get her life back. Look, Sarah loved her patients, she really did. But the system itself was just crushing her. The constant fatigue, seeing her friends and colleagues quitting left and right, that feeling that the paycheck just did not match the insane level of stress, it all boiled down to one overwhelming feeling. She was completely and utterly trapped. But then, during one of those quiet 3 a.m. breaks, something shifted. A tiny little idea, like a little spark, just appeared in the middle of all that chaos. And believe me, this was the moment, the one that would change the entire course of her life. So she's scrolling through these nursing forums, right? And she sees her colleagues complaining about the exact same things she was struggling with. Messy handoffs, disorganized notes, the stress of studying for certifications. And that's when it clicked. The solutions weren't some secret out there. They were already in her head. She was using them every single day just to survive her shifts. So what did she do? She took action. That very night, she opened up Canva, which is a totally free design tool, and she created a simple, clean, printable PDF to solve one of those problems. Think about that. It cost her $0, no risk, just 2 hours of her time, turning her own personal solution into something she could share. She put it up on Etsy for $8, and by the end of that first month, she'd made $120. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not life-changing money. But you're wrong. It was everything. It was proof. Proof that other nurses needed what she had, and proof that her own knowledge had real, actual value. That first $120, that wasn't the finish line. Oh no. That was the starting gun. And this, my friends, is where Sarah's story goes from interesting to absolutely incredible. She took that tiny bit of proof and started to scale it, all while still working her crazy demanding nursing job. Just look at this. This is the insane power of compounding. That $120 in month one became $9,000 a month just 7 months later. By the end of her first year, she'd cleared $150,000 on the side. And within 3 years, over $1.2 million in total profit. The growth is it's staggering. And here's the craziest part about how she did it. She didn't tell anybody. She didn't announce her big plans on social media or ask for validation. She knew that in a high-drama job like nursing, outside opinions would just create pressure and doubt. So she protected her energy, she protected her focus, and she built her entire empire in complete silence. Her system was so simple, it's brilliant. First, she just listened. She hung out in nurse groups online to find out what people were complaining about. That's how she got her next product idea. Second, she created solutions, eventually bundling them into these higher value packs. Third, she shared free samples anonymously to build trust. And finally, number 4, she automated the whole thing using platforms like Pinterest, so sales would literally come in 24/7 while she was sleeping or working. So, okay, beyond just the tactics, what are the big, fundamental principles we can all learn from Sarah's story? Let's break down the 5 timeless wealth lessons that were the real engine behind all this success. Lesson number 1, your expertise is hiding in plain sight, right inside your daily frustrations. The things that annoy you at your job, the little hacks you've created to make things work better, those aren't just problems. They are business ideas in disguise. And I guarantee you, thousands of other people would gladly pay you to solve that same problem for them. Second, you have to understand the power of the digital gold mine. It's not like a t-shirt or a physical book. You create a digital asset one time, and you can sell it an infinite number of times. There's no inventory to store, no shipping costs, and the profit margins are nearly 100%. It is the purest form of leverage in the modern world. Lesson 3, and this one is so important. Silence is a superpower. Building quietly, without telling everyone your plans, it protects your fragile new idea from doubt, from criticism, from drama. It lets you put all of your energy where it actually matters, on building something real. And fourth, momentum beats perfection. Every single time. Sarah's first $8 PDF wasn't a masterpiece. But you know what? It was real, it was helpful, and it sold. That first sale created the momentum, that little push she needed to keep going. So please, don't wait for perfect, just get started. And the final, and honestly the most important lesson of all, true wealth isn't money, it's time. The ultimate goal of all of this is to decouple your income from your hours. When your assets are earning money for you while you sleep or while you're on vacation, that's when you've achieved true freedom. That's when you finally get your life back. And this right here, this is the result of that freedom. Sarah paid off all of her student loans, she built a real financial safety net, and in 2024, she walked away from bedside nursing. Not because she was forced out by burnout, but because she chose to. She now lives her life completely on her own terms, all while her products continue to work for her, helping thousands of other nurses every single day. So, this brings us to you. Sarah's story is amazing, right? But it's not a one-off miracle. The exact same opportunity she seized is still sitting there right now, wide open and waiting for you. I want you to seriously ask yourself this question. What's the frustration that you deal with every single day? What's the inefficiency in your job or your hobby that you understand on a level that nobody else does? That right there, that's the starting point for your own digital empire. And remember, all the old barriers are gone. The tools you need, they're free. The platforms to sell on, they're open to everyone. You don't need to ask for permission from a boss. You don't need a loan from a bank. The only permission you need is the one you give yourself. Your silent empire is waiting. The problem you know how to solve is out there, and people are waiting for your solution. Now go build.